What up, book lovers? It is G-Swizz here, and I'm here today with my biggest book haul in quite a while. So some of you guys might already know that recently I had a birthday. And yeah, it's another good reason to say that I'm going through a quarter life crisis even though I'm past the quarter. I have 70 things in this book haul today. Even 2 of them I received today. It's getting out of hand, I know. Some of these I was given as gifts, some of these were from my workplace, and some of these were just pre-orders I pre-ordered ages ago and they ended up coming in. That sums this book all up. No, not every single one of these were given to me as a birthday gift. Some of them were, and I am including the ones that were given to me during my birthday period in this book haul because I can. This book haul is just a combination of a bunch of things, and I would like to document it on my channel before things get way too out of hand. So I guess without further ado, let's get straight into this book haul where I show you guys all the books I acquired within this time period. Now let's try to do this without knocking anything over. First book I would like to share with you guys is The Rom-Com Agenda by Jane Dinker. This is actually an advanced reader copy that was provided to me by Simon & Schuster Australia. I am so looking forward to reading this because I heard it pitched as an Emily Henry novel meets When Harry Met Sally. Even though I have not yet read Emily Henry, as I'm filming this video that is, I have watched When Harry Met Sally and I very much enjoyed the movie when I watched it. I only watched it one time, but I was intrigued, and this was at the time that I wasn't so much into rom-coms. I really feel like that rom-com kind of got me into them. I'm very much looking forward to getting this because I love myself a good rom-com. For some reason, I've been hoarding them recently. That could be a symptom of the quarter life crisis, even though I'm past the quarter. And the next book I take off of my stack is 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I've heard about this book many times over the years I've been on BookTube, and so many people recommend it. And look, I don't really expect it to be spectacular. I literally saw it for $12 and I'm like, you know what? It's mine. If I want wholesomeness one day, I'm just gonna read it. And the next book I take off of my stack is In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. I like myself a good Christina Lauren novel, and I've wanted to get this one for quite some time. Once again, Camilo and I were in a bookstore. He offered to buy me a book, yada yada yada. I decided that this one was the one that I wanted to get before the holiday season because I remember this book selling out very quickly during the holiday season last year, and I did not want to miss out this year. So we got it. I'm a happy wife. Life's good. And the next book I take off of the big stack is Bad Girl Reputation, which is the companion sequel to Good Girl Complex, both books by Elle Kennedy. Good Girl Complex. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I think that the Mr. Still Your Girl situation was a little bit awkward in that novel. However, I enjoyed the addictive writing, and I was very much looking forward to Genevieve's story because we do get a mention of Genevieve in Good Girl Complex, so I wanted to know more, and Bad Girl Reputation was coming out. Came out in October. I saw it and I immediately grabbed it. And the next book I take off of the big stack is Accidentally Engaged by Farah Heron. I had a Dimmix voucher, so I bought this. Do I know anything about it? No. Also, it has a pretty cover. I have no justification for this purchase except that I got it with a voucher, okay? I took a chance. And because I've been paying too much attention to this stack, I'm gonna move on to this stack right here, but also to just continue on with the rom-coms. I have a Tessa Bailey one. This is Too Hot to Handle with a new and improved cover. And I like this cover style, so I really hope that the rest of the companion series continues on in this cover style. I love Tessa Bailey. I've loved 2 of her companion series so far and 2 of her standalone novels. I've pretty much read at least 7 books by Tessa Bailey, so I know I will somewhat enjoy this one. But a romance novelist I have not yet read that is pretty much taking the world by storm right now is Lynn Painter. And I have Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. I cannot wait to read this book. So pretty much this rom-com follows a situation where the protagonist, I believe, calls the wrong number, but then all of a sudden sparks fly between the caller and the receiver. I cannot wait to see how this goes. I've heard great reviews about Lynn Painter's stuff. I already have the do-over from them. I cannot wait to also read Mr. Wrong Number. I think as soon as I heard the premise for this book, I immediately knew I needed it. And the next book I have to haul is From Lukov with Love by Marina Zapata. I have heard so many great things about this novel over the last year. Everyone has been raving about it in my circles. I've even received personal recommendations for it, and it finally got picked up by a publisher. So you know what? I decided I was going to go to Target and I was going to purchase it. I am happy I now have it, and now I need to read it. I hear that it is the ultimate slow burn, but once you get to the romance, it's all worth it. And then I have Marriage for One and The Hardest Fall, both by Ella Mays. I recently read To Love Jason Thorne as I'm currently filming this video, and I really enjoyed it. What I like about that romance novel is that it is very sweet. I wish that there was more romantic relationship development there, but that is okay. I still enjoyed it, and I just knew for a fact I needed to read more by Ella Mays, and I'm really happy that they rejacketed her covers, because the original covers for these books I wasn't a big fan of, but these look absolutely stunning. On top of that, I really like the spine work here. I cannot wait to read these and to let you guys know how I go with them, because I just want to keep recommending Ella Mays, and I really hope that these books are just as good as Jason Thorne. And the next 3 books I bring up are a companion series, and that, my friends, is the Brown Sisters companion series. The first book, Chloe Brown, Camilo purchased for me, whereas my friend Allison purchased the other 2 for me because we were trying to work out what romance book I wanted to choose for my birthday gift, and I ended up choosing Danny Brown, but then she was like, may as well get you Eve Brown as well to kind of like finish the series, which was absolutely thoughtful of her. Very thoughtful of both of them, so I am very thankful to have received this entire trilogy. I've wanted to read the Brown Sisters companion series for a while, so these made perfect gifts for me. I'm so thankful to both Camilo and Allison for contributing to this, and I cannot wait to read them and to let you guys know how I feel about them, because I feel like everyone has read them and has talked about them at this point. Now I've got to go into them and we're gonna see how I feel about them. Okay, so next up we have a little bit of coho. First of all, I shamelessly hold Heartbones by Colleen Hoover, and the reason why I hold this is because I specifically wanted this edition, the print-on-demand, independently published edition with this cover, because it has recently been announced that Heartbones is getting a cover upgrade to its traditionally published edition, and for some reason I had the urge to purchase this edition before it went out of print. Do I know anything about Heartbones as a novel? No, I don't, but I really liked the cover, so I just decided to buy it, okay? However, some coho novels that I actually do like, and personally I appreciate, are part of the It Ends With Us duology. I recently got the collector's edition of It Ends With Us because I knew that It Starts With Us was going to be published in trade paperback, and also I like this cover better than the original. I like the colors on this cover better, and I reckon that they work better with It Starts With Us. I read It Starts With Us, and personally, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with the resolution to the story, but additionally I appreciate that Colleen kept the heart of the original story from It Ends With Us in It Starts With Us. Like, yes, this was fan service, okay? However, I'm really happy that we were given some sort of closure, but also in some way kind of a happy ending and a new beginning. I actually really like this duology from Colleen Hoover, and a big reason why I do is because I resonate with it a lot. Coho is a hit or miss for me, so this is actually a really big deal, and this duology, out of all of her books, personally seem to be my favorite. Really happy to have them in my collection because I actually feel like these 2 books mean a lot to me. And it looks like we have another book by Elle Kennedy, and that is The Deal. A few of the romance novels in this haul were part of a 3 for 2 deal at Dimmicks, and The Deal happened to be part of that deal. Haha, but amazing pun. It's funny because I think I'm already going to be receiving the Bookish Box special editions of these books anyway, but I also really like the original covers, so I might slowly start collecting them, although the demi paperbacks seem to be like $28 in Australian dollars, that is. Yeah, I might wait until they're like dramatically discounted, because like, why pay $28 for a regular romance paperback? I really don't know. And the next book I gotta show in this haul is The Stand-In by Lily Chu, and this was another book purchased by Camilo. I've seen this one go around on the Audible originals. However, I just saw it in print form, and I mean, it's gorgeous, but also I hear great things about the stand-in story, so I do want to check it out. This one I'm like 50-50 about. Twice Shy by Sarah Hoggle. I've picked this romance novel up and put it back down a couple of times. I think I'm just not that into it. I think it's just okay. I'm only halfway through it. I like the concept of it, but I'm not really that into it at the moment. I don't know whether it is the writing style or whether it's just the mood that I'm in whenever I pick it up. If I feel very slumpy, I will start like reading it, and yeah, it's not really my vibe, but I mean, we will see, because I hear great things about Sarah Hoggle and this book in particular. Fingers crossed I like it and I will finish it eventually. And the next rom-com I've got to pick up from the pile is Built to Last. This was just recommended by a friend. I know nothing about it, but it kind of gives me Hot and Hammered vibes. Hot and Hammered being a series by Tessa Bailey, so fingers crossed I will get those vibes while reading it. And the next two rom-coms I have to pick up are actually young adult romance novels. Those being See You Yesterday and Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow. And they are both by Rachel Lynn Solomon, the author of The X-Talk and Weather Girl. Those being adult romance novels that I already have on my TBR. Yeah, for some reason, I just felt like getting more of Rachel Lynn Solomon's novels before even reading them. I have a problem. And I believe the last of my rom-coms I decided to purchase from Amazon. I saw these covers, right? And I just could not resist. I love these illustrated covers so much. This is part of the Bad Love series, and I believe that this might be a steamier series. Who knows? The original covers like had shirtless dudes on them, but I really love these illustrated feminine designs personally. First of all, we have Bad Habit, then we have Bad Influence, and then we have Bad Intentions. I just love the neon lights. I love the illustrations. I was definitely drawn in, but also I love a good romance novel. I love a good romance companion series. So seeing this on the Amazon Australia website, putting it in my wish list, made me feel some type of way. I purchased them. And I guess now I'm gonna bring you guys my stack of manga. First of all, I have volumes 7 and 8 of Mao by Rumiko Takahashi, a series that I want to read and I just keep on collecting. But then next I have a continuation in a series that I am currently reading, Yakuza Lover. I love the series so much, but I have not continued it by the looks of it because this is still sealed. I need to change that. I really desperately need to continue because what was the end of volume 6? I still can't deal. And then I have volume 1 of a new manga series called The Hunters Guild, Red Hood. I am very much looking forward to this series because it's actually a very short series. It's only like a 3-volume situation. I also very much enjoy fairy tale reimaginings and I rarely see them in manga. So I do want to try this out, see if I want to commit to the rest of the series. It is a very small commitment and something completely different. So I'm looking forward to letting you guys know how I go with it. And then I have Ghost Reaper Girl Volume 3. I still have not yet read Volume 2, but I loved Volume 1. So I cannot wait to binge through the volumes that I own. Then I have Imakoi Now I'm in Love Volume 4. I have read the first 2 volumes of the series and I did enjoy it, even though the second volume I was a little bit annoyed with because you have like the overprotective sibling, but that sibling was like super annoying. So I'm hoping that volumes 3 and 4, that changes. We will see. I just don't want that to consume the entire series. That's all. I think that's why I haven't tried 3 out yet, but I'm going to hopefully read 3 and 4 very soon. And speaking of new shoujo, I've got volume 1 in Rainbow Days. I just am looking for new shoujo. I don't really know anything about Rainbow Days, but what I do know is that it is very hyped up in Japan right now, so don't mind if I do. And next I have a short story collection from one of my favorite manga series. This is Beyond the Promised Neverland. This I believe contains a prequel short story and then a few sequel short stories and some in between. And honestly, at the end of The Promised Neverland, I feel like I just did not have much closure, and also I wanted a little bit more world building in terms of The Promised Neverland. I think there were just some questions that I did not have answered. I'm really hoping that this one bind-up volume answers at least some of those questions. And yes, speaking of continuations, The King's Beast Volume 8, I just know that this is going to make me cry because every volume does. I personally don't think that Rooster Fighter, the series, is going to make me cry. I've actually read this. This is funny stuff. This is just a mixture between JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm not gonna finish that sentence. I'm sorry, I will get demonetized. But I mean, before we had Rooster Fighter, we had Beastars, and Beastars is like my OG fave furry series. I've got Beastars Volume 21. There's one more volume that I need in this series before I have the entire series on my shelf. I feel like it has been forever since I started collecting these. I love this series so much, and I would die for Legoshi and Haru. And then finally, I have Orochi, The Perfect Edition, Volume 3. Absolutely pretty. This is a horror series that I kind of wanted to binge read, if possible. I believe that there are only 4 perfect editions in this series, so I've got one more volume until I can do a good binge read. But I'm thinking maybe more toward Halloween or some sort of a spooky season. I know we've just passed that, but I'm just really happy that I have this beautiful hardback, and all of them are absolutely so beautiful on my shelf, and I hope that I can recommend them to you eventually. Very quickly, I'm just going to sort out the stack a little bit. I'm going to go through some standard novels I have before I go on to special editions. I will end this off with special editions as I usually do because I usually save the best for last. I have a short story collection here. I am not a big short story fan. However, during the spooky season, I was particularly particularly interested in cautionary tales for excitable girls by Anne Casey Hardy. This short story collection was written by an Australian novelist, and all of the short stories in this collection are about girls in very adrenaline-inducing situations. At the time I picked this up, I had just finished the Diviner series, and I really needed my next adrenaline kick, and I was just thinking, where do I find that? And so I had to pick this up because I really needed to know if this was going to help me. I have not yet read it, but I'm very much looking forward to it because I think after the Diviner series and after series like the Four Horsemen series and just really other exciting reads, I want that experience again, to the point that I am desperate enough to pick up a short story collection when I don't pick up short story collections at all, really. I think this is going to be something I would like to try because the entire premise really does intrigue me. Also, look at how stunning that cover is. It's absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to read this. The next few novels I would like to mention are technically part of a spin-off series to a series that I read earlier this year that I really did enjoy, and I haven't seen all three of these books in a bookstore in a long time. In fact, every single time I go onto Booktopia, some of them are listed as out of print, which was annoying. However, I was able to find them all at Kinokuniya, and I decided I wasn't going to waste the opportunity. I was going to purchase the Touch of Power series by Maria V. Snyder. These, I believe, take place in the same world as the Poison Study series, and I very much loved the Poison Study series. Also, I just realized that this was signed by Maria V. Snyder herself, which was really cool. I've wanted to read this series for quite some time because I've heard really good things about it. Some of the spin-off series in the world, apparently not everybody loves. I mean, I'm not planning to read the Glass series because I don't like the couple dynamic in there. I have talked about that on my channel previously. I just personally don't feel comfortable with it, so I'm never going to read that one. However, if there is a series by Maria V. Snyder that I do want to read, it is this one. So I'm really happy I have these books and I was able to find matching editions of them. And the next book I have to bring up on my haul today is The Fortunes of Jaded Woman. I have seen a few people talk about this book in the booktube community, and also, I'm not gonna lie, the cover did definitely intrigue me. But I hear that it's a very family-oriented story, and I mean, after reading Dial A for Aunties and Blood Like Magic, I definitely want to get more into family-oriented stories. So The Fortunes of Jaded Woman sounded like a really good option. I cannot wait to read this one. Speaking of Blood Like Magic, I also have to haul Blood Like Fate, which I did read, and I did not enjoy it quite as much as Blood Like Magic, and I think that has to do with the fact that I did not reread Blood Like Magic before going into Blood Like Fate. I reckon if I reread Blood Like Magic before going into this book, I would have been a lot more hyped for the sequel. Even though I remembered a lot from the first book, I think the hype and the adrenaline I got from the first book was really something. But who knows, maybe I might reread it in the future. I did like the conclusion to this duology, and I also did quite enjoy the follow-up plot. Personally, I don't have any negative things to say about this book. I think I was just in the wrong mental state to read it when I did, unfortunately. But I really love the series, and it's one that I would highly recommend if you are wanting a family-orientated young adult story. And speaking of recent reads, I am currently reading The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This prequel to They Both Die at the End is tragically beautiful. It is heart-wrenching. They Both Die at the End, in my personal opinion, was okay, but the experience I had while reading They Both Die at the End was one that I had a lot of adrenaline while experiencing, and I think the big reason why They Both Die at the End was just okay for me at the end of the day was because there was so much introduced in the background of They Both Die at the End that I felt like was kind of wasted for the one standalone story altogether. I just wanted loose ends to be tied. As I'm reading this novel, there's so much going on, but so much is being addressed. It's not just Orion and Valentino's story. No, there's so much more going on in here that I really appreciate, and it is a very worthy prequel of They Both Die at the End. In my personal opinion, They Both Die at the End was okay. It just did not feel like a fleshed out story. I'm really satisfied with the story. So I'm really happy that I have this prequel. It is a very worthy prequel. And the next book I bring out from my stack is Ashes of Gold by J.L. Now this is in a series I have not yet read. This is the second book and the finale in the Wings of Ebony duology. I really want to read this because it has to do with demigods, and your girl likes reading about demigods, so I'm very much looking forward to binge reading this duology. Also, this cover, absolutely stunning. And next I have two books that I purchased in a treat yourself moment, and these two books are the last two books in a quartet, and that is the Raven and the Dove quartet. The third book being The Dragon and the Queen, and the fourth book being The Godborn and the King. I love these covers so much, and what I also appreciate about these editions is that you have the full art on the naked hardback. They're just absolutely stunning. I reckon that the illustrator did an amazing job. I've wanted to read this series for a while. Now I have all the books. I hope that this is a very worthwhile binge read because this series I've been keeping an eye on ever since book 1 came out. And now I move on to some books that Camilo purchased for my birthday. He's been good with the romance novel treats, but he purchased some novels for my birthday and I am so happy. So he did something different. He let me online shop and then he ended up paying for it. I got Tessandra Odette's re-release of the first book in the Layla trilogy. It's no longer called the Layla trilogy. I really don't know what the new title for the trilogy is, but what I do know is that Tessandra Odette is re-releasing the books and has also rewritten some segments and has also taken out from some segments. And what I like about these covers is that once again, I don't know whether she's designed this cover, but she has definitely illustrated this. This is so adorable. I am so happy with this purchase. Tessandra Odette is so creative and is an amazing artist. I loved the Layla trilogy. I liked the original trilogy. I do want to revisit this world sometime and I might revisit it while reading the new editions of the series. A Throne of Shadows is the first book title. I think A Cage of Crystal is the second, and I am looking forward to seeing how she's transformed this series and what she wanted it to change to, essentially, because I did enjoy the Layla trilogy. I ended up reading them this year. The original editions have gone out of print, so we will see how much it has changed and how much it has remained. But what I do know is that I already love these characters anyway. And then Camilo ended up purchasing the first 4 books in a series I've wanted to read for a very long time. He purchased the first 4 books in the Air Comes to Rise series. I've wanted to read the series for a very long time, and each cover is illustrated by Alice Maria Power, who is one of my favorite cover illustrators ever. They also illustrated the Bookish Box special editions of the Bargainer trilogy, and I mean, that is one of my favorite special edition sets of all time. I'm just absolutely in love with these covers. We have the first book here, which is An Heir Comes to Rise, the second book being A Queen Comes to Power, the third book being A Throne from the Ashes, and finally the 4th book being A Clash of 3 Courts. I don't know much about the series. All I know is that it's a good fantasy romance series for those who like fantasy romance. I mean, well, duh. Also, I knew that these were going to be really expensive, so it was a good wish list request that I gave him, and he delivered. He came through. Now I move on to special editions. So I'm going to start off with Illumicrate, then I'm going to go on to Fairyloot, and then finally I'm going to go on to the Bookish Box. I only have one set from Illumicrate, and that one set is the Locked Tomb series by Tamsin Muir, which consists of Gideon the Ninth, Harrow the Ninth, and Nona the Ninth. And what I like about these is this. I really like this. Also, on top of that, I really like the foiling that's underneath every single one of these dust jackets. Yeah, I reckon that Illumicrate did an excellent job with these. Now, in terms of Fairyloot, since my last book haul and this book haul, I've only received 1 monthly book. It's been really bad with these shipping delays. So I have Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. I'm not necessarily excited for this book. I didn't really enjoy my September unboxing too much. I think the only thing I was really excited for in terms of my 2 boxes was the edition of Belladonna I received. I wasn't even a big fan of the items I received in that box. So I just personally decided I wasn't gonna even bother editing the unboxing video. Not necessarily because I'm not willing to give constructive feedback. I don't know, I just didn't really feel excited about my September Fairyloot unboxing. But Spells for Forgetting is by an author that I have read before and I have not previously liked the book. Like, I wasn't a big fan of the Fable duology. I like the pages here and I do like the foiling, but other than that, like, I'm not wowed by this edition. But on the bright side, I have The Blood Trader by Lynette Noni in the Fairyloot edition, and I'm in love because I really do like this blue. I also like the pages here, and on top of all of it, this is so gorgeous. I am absolutely obsessed with these 2, and this series, this trilogy, this is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. So I feel absolutely honored to have received this book and to have at least purchased it on time before it sold out. And the last Fairyloot edition I have to share with you guys in this haul today is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne in the beautiful Fairyloot Mortal edition. Fairyloot are doing this new series where they are making special editions of contemporary-esque novels, like novels set in the real world, not a fantasy world, and they are labeling the books under their collection as Mortal editions. I have one of their first. This is The Hating Game, and I like the ombre pages here. These were definitely a selling point for me, and the foiling here, I honestly cannot get over. I read The Hating Game years ago. I need to revisit it because I don't remember anything about it, but what I do know is that I think I would appreciate it even more now that I work in publishing, and this novel essentially takes place when there is a publishing merger, and each of the love interests are on one side of it. So cannot wait to check this one out again because because it has been years since I attempted to read it. And now we move on to the Bookish Box book picks. I'm going to start off with my monthly book picks and then go on to the other special editions I pre-ordered and received. If I'm to be honest, I don't actually remember whether this was the June or July book pick for the young adult box, but I have A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair. I personally remember the Bookish Box announcing that they were going to do 2 cover variants, one being gray and the other being red, and I was crossing my fingers and toes that I was going to get the red edition, and I'm so happy I have the red edition. I'm going to be honest, as much as I do like the Bookish Box special editions, some of them are way too dark. I need more color, and I'm really happy I have the colored edition because this one is far from bland. When I saw the pictures of the gray edition, I wasn't a big fan of the pages. Gray to me is mediocre, even though yes, the foiling was holographic. I just love this. This is so pretty. I'm just absolutely in love with this edition, and I'm really happy I got the red variant. I think that all of them should have been red, but I mean, that's just my opinion. I do think some other customers preferred the gray. And I think this next one was the next young adult book pick of the month, and that, my friends, is Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin. I love this edition. I love what they did with this book, even though I do love the original cover, and I think I would also buy the original cover. I do appreciate what they did here. I am not gonna lie though, I'm not a big fan of the stenciling here. I would have personally liked it better if this feather wasn't in the way of the patterns, because I do like the patterns. I reckon that the patterns should have just kept going. I don't know why. I'm just not really a big fan of like feathers getting in the way of everything. But I mean, this altogether is pretty. The clear dust jacket, that's really cool too. And the last monthly book pick from the Bookish Box that I have to share with you guys that I have received within this whole period is Untainted by Lillian T. James. This is one of the books that kind of like motivated me to keep my subscription because I have wanted to purchase this book for quite some time. However, I was waiting to see what the Bookish Box would do with it, and I have to say I'm really pleased with this edition because even though the dust jacket is okay, I like these pages. Personally, these pages give me less FOMO knowing that I missed out on Fairyloot's Kingdom of the Wicked. They really came through here. I love this. I also really love this. This is absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous. I am obsessed. And I also like that it comes with an alternative dust jacket cover as well. Overall, I am very impressed with this one, actually. Even though it did take a while to get here, I have wanted to read Untainted for a while, and I'm really impressed by the treatment of this specific book. I haven't been a huge fan of the adult boxes in terms of the items that we have been receiving. However, I have been loving the book choices that they've been coming up with. And finally, I have 2 special edition pre-orders from the Bookish Box. One I received today. Today, as I'm filming this video, I received these Twisted Bonds by Lexi Ryan, which also came with a dust jacket for these hollow vows. I love these beautiful dust jackets. What I am a little bit bitter about is that even though it was a book pick of the month, these hollow vows never got the beautiful stenciling that these Twisted Bonds did. I mean, I'm not going to be able to face them out because they're just not going to match. But what I am happy about is the spines. Magic is life and life is magic. I'm also very much pleased with the foiling that they had and the end pages here. I reckon that even though they did work with a different artist, I do still appreciate it. I like the foiling here. There's the original cover as well. Overall, I am pleased with these beautiful editions. I loved these hollow vows and I cannot wait to read these Twisted Bonds. I just haven't had any motivation to read it because I had no physical copy. Now I do. Now I need to read them. And last but certainly not least, it's finally here. I have the Bookish Box special editions of the Air Awakens Chronicles by Elise Kova. Look at how beautiful this box set is. I am absolutely obsessed. I love each of these books. I will go through them individually. Interjection from the future. Hello, welcome to another room. I'm currently in the editing stages of this haul right now, and I realized as I was showing off my Air Awakens set that the covers and the pages were not focused on due to the lack of my camera's autofocus. So I'm going to refilm this. First of all, we have Air Awakens, which has a very airy atmosphere to the cover. And on top of that, we have some air element inspired pages, and you'll see that this is a running theme throughout the pages in this box set. They're all inspired by the elements, as well as the titles, obviously. And then we have Fire Falling, which is very much a fiery inspired cover. I love this one. I love the detailing on this. I also very much love the pages here. Probably one of my favorite page stencilings out of the set. And then we have Earth's End, which is quite the earthy cover. You can see it in the coloring and the landscape, everything. And the page design design on this one is just as cool, if you guys can see that. I kind of wish that they went for like a brighter green rather than a paler green for this one. And then we have Water's Wrath, which is very much inspired by water. I mean, duh. I do like the waterfall on this one and the detailing there. To top it all off, the pages look absolutely gorgeous. They are a perfect contrast to the fiery edges that we had. I also very much love the flowers that are on every single one of these page designs. I reckon that they add a little color, even though the flowers are somewhat random. And finally, my favorite, we have Crystal Crown. Crystal is the 5th element in this series, and I love this cover. It is so beautiful, and on top of all of that, I love the pages. The crystals, the flowers, everything. Oh my goodness, it's giving me so much. Back to the book haul footage. I love what the Bookish Box did with this set. Here's the thing. It's a controversial set because they did change the concept art after putting it up for pre-order. And unfortunately, I do not defend the Bookish Box there. I really think that they could have taken more time to work on the concept art before putting it up for pre-order, because in my personal opinion, that's a little bit shady. This box set went up for pre-order around December of last year. I think it was December 30th or December 31st. And unfortunately, between then and now, the concept art changed almost dramatically. Not on the actual covers, but on the spines and also on some of the pages. And I cannot back the Bookish Box there because in my personal opinion, I think it's a little bit wrong that they changed the concept art halfway through the process between selling it and printing it, whatnot. This all being said, I'm very pleased with the set, and I actually do like the new concept of the set. I like how the spines come together. Like, I just love everything about this new set. And so personally, that's why I decided I was going to keep it. They did have an option to refund it, I believe. And on top of all that, I love Elise Kova. That is what I have to say in terms of the Air Awakened set. I am very much happy that I have it. Look at that. That looks cool. I guess that's gonna be it for this book haul today, book lovers. My floor is so messy. I need to rest. If you happen to stay till the end of the book haul, leave me the book stack emoji because we do that for book hauls here. If you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social media. I'm at GSwizzleBooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/GSwizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at GSwizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.